Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2021 annual TuksSport Colors and Awards. It's a special evening for all of us because this is the first time that we're hosting this event in hybrid format. And by no means are we in any way looking down on any of the athletes, but due to COVID regulations, we had to keep it this way. But we're still here to celebrate sporting excellence by athletes, coaches, administrators, and multiple teams from the University of Pretoria. Whilst COVID-19 has taught us so many things over the years, as I was reflecting, I realized that one has to always reflect and think of the lessons from the past, whilst in the present, looking at decisive moves you can take to make better decisions, and in the future to forecast, to plan better, because the future remains uncertain. And I also realized that the value of sport remains unquestionable to this date, because we've seen gestures such as taking the knee have become so common around many different sporting codes around the world, bringing awareness to multiple pressing issues in our society today. So the value of sport has never been questioned and remains a true vehicle in which we can foster change and awareness to pressing issues. My name is Lennox Wasara, and I'll be your program director tonight. I would love to hear from you throughout this whole evening. You can certainly reach us out on hashtag TuksSport Awards. You can tweet us at TuksSport and also engage with us on all other platforms at TuksSport. It is a special evening, and you know what? It's one that does mean that there's a lot of work that's going behind all of this, but tonight's production graphics have probably been brought to us by Louis Kluter Productions. Let's have a look at more of what they do with this company and their contribution to the University of Pretoria. It's important to note that all COVID-19 protocols are being observed throughout this evening. I can assure you that throughout the handover of any prizes and awards, that's going to be mandatory, and that's what we'll be complying with. But without further ado, I'd like to call upon our Vice-Chancellor, our thought leader, our champion, and indeed, he joins us now, and he was going to share a few words. Professor Tano Kupe, Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria.
A very good evening to everyone who's here in person and to the many more who are watching online. So to say good evening might be incorrect. There might be some watching from abroad. So good morning, good afternoon. I would like all protocol observed to recognize our Executive Director responsible for Finance and Sports, Professor Carolina Kunov, to acknowledge her, and Mr. Stephen Bold, the Director of Sports, and his teams. But most importantly, to acknowledge our Olympians and Para-Olympians and all our sports women and men at the University of Pretoria. Almost 2 years ago, I stood at the 2019 TuksSport Awards evening and shared some words with all those attending. This was my first since becoming Vice-Chancellor and Principal at the University of Pretoria earlier that year. At this event, I shared a vision for sport at the university, a vision which centers around becoming a globally dominant sporting powerhouse in Africa and competitive globally. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 TuksSport Colors and Awards evening, albeit in a hybrid format. To all of those joining us through this virtual event, we welcome you as we have an opportunity to share in and celebrate sport at UP once again. A special word of welcome to our UP Council members, executives, senior management, deans of faculties, and rectors of our professional service departments. To UP academic heads of departments, lecturing staff, and all your colleagues that are watching this evening, a special word of welcome. To our numerous friends, sponsors, and partners, along with the staff, coaches, managers, administrators, and volunteers who are integral in the functioning and success of TuksSport, thank you for joining us. Finally, to the many student athletes, elite performers, and thousands of members that compete and represent the striped generation, locally, nationally, and globally, we welcome you and celebrate with you this evening. all protocols are observed. This vision I previously referred to, one of being a sporting powerhouse in Africa, would require building on many years of success already achieved at TuksSport, while considering future operations and performance expectations. We would never have thought that in a few months following the 2019 event, the world would have experienced the disruptions it has due to the global COVID-19 pandemic. This has rocked our country and our operations as an institution of higher learning in many ways, and continues to do so as we systematically seek ways of returning to what was our everyday normal. Sport too has been severely impacted. But despite these challenges we face, our TuksSport athletes, coaches, and programs have continued to strive toward achieving the status of a powerhouse of sport in Africa. This evening, I've once again the pleasure of standing at our annual TuksSport Colors and Awards event after not hosting it in 2020 and celebrating the successes of our sporting operations. The value of sport in a university can be seen globally, as great investment is made into the sporting programs of these institutions with the support of the senior executive of the respective universities. The value added to a university's image and marketability, whilst increasing the positive statements, can be significant. Once again, sport at the University of Pretoria has actively continued to do exactly that, especially in a time when many felt large degrees of hopelessness. As the senior executive of the university, we believe in the value of sport at an organization such as ours in South Africa, on the African continent, and competing globally. We have an opportunity this evening to celebrate the many successes of our TuksSport program over the course of the last 24 months, considering we did not have an event last year, as already mentioned. We honor our clubs, athletes, and coaches, while it's not forgetting that successful sporting programs are built on numerous individuals operating often in the shadows of those on the field of play. Through honoring our sporting programs, we allow ourselves to also acknowledge the many UP departments and individuals that support our student athletes and elite performers in actively contributing to an environment conducive to high performance. This includes the various faculties, academic departments, our numerous professional service departments that continue to buy into sport and the broader vision for it at UP. We celebrate the more than 200 student athletes that graduated during our autumn and spring graduation ceremonies, and we appreciate the effort that it took to balance the academic and sporting demands. Indeed, it is also our philosophy that academic excellence and achievement and endeavors and sports are complementary, and those who achieve both are testimony to our vision, our ambition, and our aspiration. I would like to recognize and acknowledge all the numerous coaches, managers, and administrators, the facilities staff, along with the sports science and medical staff that provide the necessary support and guidance to our athletes and teams. Thank you for the hours of tireless work, often what many would deem after hours, on weekends and public holidays. We know sport does not keep office hours, and the personal sacrifices made are often at the detriment to oneself, your families, and loved ones. Thank you for your sacrifices. They are much appreciated. One would have expected that coming into 2021, a quiet, potentially non-eventful sporting calendar and year would have been the realities, especially when considering the pandemic and havoc it has caused in many lives. However, this has proven not to be the case, as sport has slowly pushed toward returning to some form of normality. In doing so, our UP programs have continued to carry the baton and once again proven to be a dominant force in sport in our country and our continent, and as you saw with our Olympians on the globe, globally. With our athletes once again competing at the highest levels on the local and global stage, claiming numerous titles and global and medals. This can be seen through our team's performances at the various University Sports South Africa national championships, where we claimed close on 70% of the gold medals on offer. This is remarkable, unbelievable. Within the Varsity Cup and Varsity Sport competitions, our UP Tuks teams exhibited 100% top 3 medal position in the 4 competitions that we took place. Again, incredible. Once again, the striped generation made on close on 20% of Team SA to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games that had been delayed by COVID, with golden girl Tatiana Schoonmaker bringing home a gold and silver medal and 3 fellow Team SA members finishing in the top 6. Some truly special performances. We were also able to significantly contribute to Team SA at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games with 8 athletes, a coach, and medical doctor. The successful hosting of the Varsity Cup Rugby and Varsity Football tournaments this year set the benchmark not only on the field of play, but also of these teams were accommodated in this very facility, the Future Africa Institute and campus. These tournaments, in a bubble-type format, so numerous of our UP structures come together, set a standard, and achieve very few globally have done during the pandemic, especially when considering the nature, size, and team numbers. This successful hosting brought great exposure to UP, while it's allowing us to demonstrate that silos can be broken across the organizations as people align and buy into common visions and reimagine a UP of the future. We are actually partly living in that future. A special congratulations to all our recipients this evening. You have continued to fly the UP and TuksSport flag high. To all those that may not be mentioned this evening, the numerous members of our TuksSport family, thank you for what you two do to actively contribute to the imagination and image and brand of UP. You two are important. As captain of the UP team, I stand here proud and extremely grateful this evening. Congratulations to all.
Thank you very much, Professor Tano Cooper, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal at the University of Pretoria, is indeed the captain of our ship here at the University of Pretoria. Obviously, with every event, it certainly is a lot of involvement that gets to happen in terms of making everything flow fluidly. The sponsors come into play, and they help to ensure that we're able to have sport at the University of Pretoria, and also they also make sure that events of this kind are possible. But without further ado, I'd like to call upon a very special person in my life personally. That's the principal of the TuksSport High School, Mrs. Hetty de Villiers. She's somebody who's helped me discover my leadership potential when I was still in the high school back in 2013. I haven't seen her in a very long time, and today was the first time I've seen her after a couple of years. So she'll be coming to announce some of the national representatives.
Thank you very much, Lennox. The following athletes from different sporting codes represented South Africa at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo this year. In the following category, aquatics, swimming, Pieter Coetzee, and it's worth mentioning that Pieter was the youngest swimmer to ever qualify for the Olympic Games. Dunay Coetzee, Kylene Corbett. Kylene was nominated for the Fair Play Award at the Olympic Games. Rocco Meyer. I'm happy to announce that Rocco was received the award for the Coach of the Year at the Gauteng Coaches Awards evening only this week. There are few coaches that had more than one swimmer at the Olympic Games, and Rocco is one of the coaches that had 2 swimmers in the same semi-final. Tatiana Schoonmaker, our golden girl, she set 2 Olympic records in the 100-meter and the 200-meter breaststroke, respectively. She won a silver in the 100-meter breaststroke, a gold in the 200-meter, and she also set a world record in the 200 meters. I'm also very proud to say that she's a TuksSport graduate, TuksSport High School graduate. In the category aquatics water polo, Nicola McLeod. Athletics, Kyle Blignut, Paul Goris, Gift Leotlela, It was Gift's second run at the Olympic Games, and he is also a TuksSport High School graduate. Clarence Munyai, also his second Olympics, and he is also a TuksSport High School graduate. Wenda Nel, Tapelu Pora, Irma Reineke, Akani Sambine, who narrowly missed out on the bronze and came fourth in the 100-meter sprint. Wayne Snyman. In the category fencing, Andrei Kovrinek. Football, Katlego Mohame. Hockey, Nduduzi Lembeti, who is a UP alumni. Laratu Mahole, who is a current student of Tuks. Marison Mare, a final year student at the University of Pretoria. Samkelo Mvimbi, Edith Mudikwe, Kumelele Mabande, Nklubile Ntuli, Sitle Ntuli, Nkulisu Zondi, Ontaile Zulu. In judo, the only coach to ever have produced Olympians for South Africa in the last 4 Olympic Games is Nicola Filippo. Jerene Whiteboy, TuksSport High School graduate. It was her first Olympics, and she's also a UP alumni. Rowing, Roger Barrow, Lawrence Britton, who was also a 2016 medalist. Maika Dickman, the first Namibian to qualify in rowing for the Olympics. Luke De Fern, Marco Gaglioni, Jake Green, Danielle Lincoln, Kyle Schoonby, John Smith, who was a 2012 medalist at the Olympic Games, Sandro Torrente, and in triathlon, Lindsay Perry. Following athletes represented South Africa at the Paralympic Games. Hendrik van der Merwe, also a graduate of TuksSport High School. In archery, Sean Anderson, Philip Coates Belgrave, Barbara Manning. In athletics, Daniel Duplessis, and part of the medical team, Dr. Carolette Kluter, who is also a doctor at Semley. Wheelchair tennis, Elifas Maripa, Gotatso Mochane, Mariska Venter, and then senior national representatives. Athletics, Thailand Bilt, Tandu Dlodlo. He was also a member of the 4x100 meter gold medal winning team in the relay. Chess, Nina Mare, who is a student at UP, Mfundu Masiya. Cricket, Curtis Kamfer, Theunis de Bruin, Mignon de Pree, Heinrich Klaassen, Sunay Lees, Aiden Markram, Lungi Ngidi, Ruben Trumpelman. In gymnastics, specifically rhythmic gymnastics, Shannon Gardner. In judo, Dunay Breitenbach and her brother Thomas Breitenbach, both of them being TuksSport High School graduates. Chardonnay Griesel and Anastasia Nanova. In karate, Megan Boyens, netball, Giselle Garber, Izet Griesel, Chantel Swart, Shadine van der Merwe, Ine-Marie Venter. rugby. Warren Gallant, Jesse Kriel, Andre Pollard, and R.G. Snyman. In women's rugby, Libby Jansen van Rensburg, it was her first Protea cap, Liska Lategan, and Megan Phillips. Triathlon, Hannah Newman, Dylan Norkia, another TuksSport High School graduate, Christian Strubel, and Bridget Tienison. And that brings us to the national coaches and the managers. Athletics, Dani Cornelius. Football, Thembaletu Moses. Gymnastics, and in trampoline, Nikki van der Walt, Tian van der Walt. And netball, Shanae Brits. And maybe I should apologize for singling out TuksSport High School, but you can say that I'm slightly biased, and I'm very proud of all the students that came through our system and are doing so well, including Lennox.
Thank you very much, Ms. de Villiers. That's indeed very polite. I hope that my year was still the best year the high school has ever had back in 2013. But with every event, you do know that there are sponsors that are involved and that allow us to enjoy and celebrate the contributions of various athletes. But you know what? The University of Pretoria has been excellent, not only on the sporting field, but off the sporting field. We've had the pleasure of seeing some of our talented artists do so well. There's an insert from the UP Orchestra that you're going to see now that proves again the excellence of University of Pretoria above and abroad in all spaces that we're involved in. sensational. I just wanted to keep going and going after that. That was certainly profound. The UP Orchestra coming through. Not only are we talented on the sporting field, but also off the sporting field. Remember to continue engaging with us on social media, hashtag TuksSport Awards. That's where it's at. Keep on tweeting and connect with us on all social media platforms at TuksSport. Also, one of the main things is that we are indeed running a poll, so please check that out when it's out there as well. But if I may, there is a bit of a prize that you can win if you continue to engage with us. So I'm not going to give it away though, but I do want to ask you to continue to chat with us, and we want to connect with you and hear what you think and what you think about some of the winners as well. But without further ado, I would like to call upon my former classmate at the University of Pretoria. She's currently the marketing manager, that's being Miss Angelica van Doo. Very vibrant, truly passionate about sport, and also showcasing the sport at the University of Pretoria. She'll be focusing on the awarding the colours as they come through. Angelica van Doo, marketing manager at TuksSport.
Thank you very much for that, Lennox. The following athletes are recognized as National Federation representatives. In aquatics, life-saving, Annelie Lawrence, Ricardo Peach. In aquatics, open water, Stephanie Houtman, Henry Lowe. In netball, Marlies de Bruin. Also interesting to note that Marlies is the Jaguars captain and an alumnus of the University of Pretoria. Akosua Mensah, Jenny van Dijk. This amazing woman, ladies and gentlemen, has coached the Jaguars to their 5th consecutive win. In volleyball, Nicola Venhold. The following athletes are recognized as national age group representatives. In aquatics, for water polo, Byron Rees-Gibbs. Archery, Beyers de Klerk, Vian Roux. In athletics, John Adesola, Joram Bangue, Abednego Choba, Charlize Eilert, Marionne Fourie, Johan Oosthuizen, Samuel Sipeng, Kayla van der Berg, Zander van der Merwe, Christian Venter. In cricket, Blanche Conradi. This lovely, capable young lady is also the manager of Tuks Cricket and was recently appointed as chairperson of USA Cricket. Jordan Herman, Jack Lees, Samuel Ruisi, Creer van Wyk. In fencing, Kalman Kozma. In hockey, John Lee du Toit. In netball, Alice Kennon, Sinethemba Maseko, Mbalenhle Ntuli, Jamie van Wyk. In rowing, Tapelo Masuta, Catherine Williams. Interesting to note, Catherine is also the World Under-23 rowing silver medalist. For triathlon, Rousseau Venter. In yachting, Jonathan Ham. The following athletes are recognized as senior provincial representatives. In aquatics, life-saving, Deborah Dredge, Paula Dredge, Kian du Toit, Johan Lawrence, Andre Mouton, Sulinka van der Berg, Okkert van Skalkwyk, Tovey van Sail, Valencia Walker. In aquatics, open water, Muhammad Adam, Caitlin Albertine, Megan Albertine, Gary Albertine. In aquatics, swimming, Altus Beetger, Leslie Blichnout, Matthew Bowers, Jana Kutsia, Yanni Kotzer, Shantay Cornelius, Natasha Cornelius, Kundrad de Beer, Giano dos Santos, Francois Duplessis, Jan Herman Els, Tahir Essof, Alicio Ferreri, Jenna Lane Fuller, Alex Goddard, Roberto Gomez, Carla Grobler, Ross Hartigan, Maaz Kota, Robert Leroux, Jacques Malan, Peter Mostert, Dumayana Musuwe, Kirsten Mandel, Kelsey Munro, Hendrik Muth, Kiara Noades, Dante Norkia, Liam O'Hara, Bianca Opperman, Benjamin Platner, Janku Rademeyer, Alex Ramala, Samantha Randall, Ruan Russ, Ethan Rickert, Adrian Robinson, Andrew Ross, Marlies Ross, Gustav Schlechter, Raida Shaw, Angus Solomons, Georgios Synodinos, Cullen Thomas, Andre van Heestien, Sunay van Jaarsveld, Lizanne Viljoen, Reino von Willig, Natasia Frey, Inga Wiedemann, in aquatics, water polo, Erin Ayer, Francois Allen, Taylin Blues, Aaron Bormann, Aidan Braun, Matthew Collins, Leila Fernandez, Nathan Fogwell, Christopher Fox, Maxine Hannon, Riley Kamstra, Aidan Kok, Anne Muller, Luke Parleby, Henry Rademeyer, Kiara Skutter, Michael Smith, Devet Vermaak. In athletics, Christy Bell, Ruan de Vries, Nicholas Ferns, Marinda Greylen, Leroux Haman, Lindsay Hanekom, Pindile Kubega, Marzan Lourdes, Tepang Makete, Chris Molea, Reabetri Muloy, also an alumnus of the TuksSport High School and South Africa's 100-meter winner. Well done, Reabetri. Tembo Munareng, Deline Mpiti, Helene Biens, Frederick Pretorius, Rivaldo Roberts, Yvonne Robson, Zene van der Walt, Jovan van Vieren, Shannon Fester, Marley Viljoen, Simone Wietz, Rose Kleyi. In cricket, Corbin Bosch, Neil Brandt, Merrick Brett, Akil Kluter, Ruan de Swart, Tony de Zorzi, Donovan Ferreira. Ruben Herman proudly represented Namibia at the T20 World Cup this month. A big well done to you, Ruben, on that. Mudiri Diteko, rather. Tepo Moreki, Gideon Pieters, Javeshin Pillay, Jandre Pretorius, and Aaron Visser. For karate, Diane Debot, Franco Duplessis, Vinette Jordan, Minette Ace. In the modern day pentathlon, Skalk McDouling. For netball, Jannie Berg, Henri Coutier, Venetia Grobler, Lifaletu Kumalo, Lungile Mtembu, Tracy Mtunzi, Hope Sibiya, Tanita van Dijk, and Danielle van Zyl. For rugby, Tim Agaba, co-captain of UP Tuks 1 presently, Jaco Besadenhout. Dewald Donald, Jacques Duplessis, Werner Fourie, Johan Grobelaar, commonly known to his teammates as Leo, Etienne Janneke, Keegan Johannes, Francois Klopper, Ulrich Lou, Ediwan Libbe, Kabelo Mokoena, Ruan Nokia, Ambrose Papier, Marnus Potgieter, Andrew Sergio, Clinton Swart, Müller Eis, Laurits van der Schijf, Evan van Zyl. Currently UP Tuks 1 Varsity Cup and reigning captain, who demolished UCT, I must note, in the final of that Varsity Cup competition, Sango Kamlashe, Llewellyn Klaassen, Johan Mulder. For the women flying the rugby flag high, Kemisetso Baloyi, Marizan Dutoy, Nolwazi Shabangani, Rumandi Potgieter, an all-rounder, ladies and gentlemen, who's currently an LLM student and converted, made the big switch from netball to rugby. Well done, Rumandi. And Tandeka Shongwe. For squash, Helena Coutier. It is also to be noted that Helena is the USA individual champion for squash. You go, girl. Noel Lee, Kimberly McDonald, Laura Patrick. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been nothing but an honor to present this section of our proceedings.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fando. Really appreciate you announcing all the names, and congratulations to all the winners. Now, the University of Pretoria has got an incredible residence culture. The Res is always competing, and this year's winner of the Serenade competition was Hans Kalitzia. And let's have a look at their performance. It was truly sensational.
Please tell me why it's company policy that we have to deliver within the first 30 minutes.
Angel, you know these Pretoria boys. All speed, no stamina.
And sometimes they don't even care if the food is finished. If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. I might shine and make it better over time. Heard you say I'm not the baddest, what you like? Ain't my fault, ask me. Yeah, sure, sure, yeah, that's so sweet. Yeah, sure, sure, yeah, that's so sweet. Ice cream, chillin', chillin', ice cream, chillin', ice cream, chillin', chillin', ice cream. I'm not your friend or anything, Dan. You think that you're the man? I think therefore I am. I'm not your friend or anything, Dan. You think that you're the man? I think therefore I am. I'm not your friend or anything.
A very special performance. Thank you so much. Now, I want to also continue thanking our sponsors that make sport possible at the University of Pretoria, and continue getting those tweets in, and also continue tagging us in all your tweets on social media. We certainly do appreciate it. Remember, there's that prize that you can win that's going to be coming through your way, so continue with those interactions. But ladies and gentlemen, recently Sean Pollock was inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame, and I'm saying this because the University of Pretoria has their very own Hall of Fame, the TuksSport Hall of Fame, which has a legacy of sporting events and sporting greats that have come through to make things exceptional and representing the University of Pretoria, but also making a salient contribution to the University of Pretoria and the sporting code at large. I would like to call upon the Deputy Director of TuksSport, that being Dr. Rendani Mlaudzi, to introduce the inductees of 2021.
Good evening. We are here tonight to induct 3 sporting greats and legends into the TuksSport Hall of Fame. This ceremony is aimed at giving permanent honor to persons who have contributed to the illustrious sporting history of the University of Pretoria. These are men and women who have contributed to making the university a powerhouse of sport in South Africa, Africa and the world. We take pleasure in honoring former athletes, players, officials, coaches, administrators, sports scientists, and other persons who have played a role in building the university and TuksSport's immense image of a great sporting university. Today, we are going to induct to the Hall of Fame persons who have contributed to track and field, that is athletics, netball, and fencing as coaches and administrators. These individuals have represented South Africa at international levels and rendered exceptional service in sport as TuksSport administrators, coaches, and/or officials. It is my honor and privilege to announce the first 2021 inductee to the TuksSport Hall of Fame. I would like to call our first inductee tonight, Mr. Dupreez. Dup, as is commonly known within athletics, has been involved in athletics since 1963. First as an athlete and then in 1970 as a Tuks coach. In all, Dup has been involved in Tuks athletics for 49 years. He has coached more than 60 athletes to win South African and African titles. A good number of the athletes he coached represented South Africa at the Commonwealth Games, World Championships, and the Olympic Games. Among them are Fritz and Karel Potgieter and Berger Lambrecht, who participated in the 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney. Dup also coached Elisna Nodie, the 2006 Commonwealth Games gold medalist and current holder of the South African women's discus record of 64.87 meters. Ladies and gentlemen, I now ask Professor Coupe, the Vice Chancellor, and Mr. Steve Ball, Director of TuksSport, to hand over the TuksSport Hall of Fame certificate to Mr. Duplessis. I now call upon Mrs. Luisa Skete to come on stage to receive the award on behalf of our second inductee, Mrs. Lynette Ferreira, who unfortunately cannot be here tonight. Mrs. Lynette Ferreira has been involved in South African netball for 73 years as a player, umpire, coach, selector, and administrator. From 1975 to the mid-1980s, Lynette coached Tuks netball teams and taught netball practicals in the Faculty of Education of the University of Pretoria. Lynette was largely responsible for the introduction of netball at the Pretoria Teachers Training College, which has since become the Faculty of Education of the University of Pretoria. Lynette persuaded the principal of the college to allow her to start a netball club, with the permission given on one proviso: no money would be made available. Ferreira and her friends used their precious pocket money to buy balls and the rest of equipment needed. Lynette was a member of the Springbok netball team that took part in the first World Netball Cup in 1963, as well as in 1967, 1970, and 1973. In 1969, she played an integral role in establishing the South African University Netball Association. The first SAU tournament was held in July in Cape Town, hosted by the Ikes. Tuks was the inaugural winner at that tournament. When her playing days came to an end, Lynette coached and was also an umpire. In 1976, Lynette was awarded the State President's Merit Award as the Coach of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, I now ask Professor Cooper and Mr. Stephen Ball to hand over the Law Hall of Fame certificate to Mrs. Louise Skete. Our third nominee into the Hall of Fame is Professor Wim Dreyer, and I call him to ascend the stage to be acknowledged. Professor Wim Dreyer, a professor of theology at the University of Pretoria, has been involved with Tuks fencing since 1975. He was acknowledged as the Sports Administrator of the Year by TuksSport in 2012 for the role he played as the president of Tuks fencing. Between 1990 and 2018, he served as the Secretary General of Fencing Federation of South Africa. He coached the first ever South African team that competed at the World Championships in Genoa in 1992. Wim has actively contributed to the sport both locally and internationally. His passion for fencing has not gone unnoticed when he received an accolade from the International Olympic Committee for the contribution he made to the Olympic movement. Ladies and gentlemen, I now ask Professor Cooper and Mr. Sinbol to hand over the certificate. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the induction into the Hall of Fame of the three inductees. Thank you.
Congratulations to all the inductees who've been inducted into the Hall of Fame at TuksSport. An extraordinary achievement for them. Now, one of the things that we're going to be doing now is certainly handing over to Miss Doe, who's currently, Miss Van Doe rather, who's currently with the athletes who are in the hub on the other side. It is here where we'll be certainly having a look at what some of the athletes are doing.
Thank you, Lennox. Joining me is Jerene, or Michaela Whiteboy. Michaela, how are you?
Thanks for having me. Well, thank you.
Ultra fantastic. Thank you for your time and thank you for your dedication to your craft. I mean, this is judo and you participate in the 48 kilogram category. So petite and so strong at the same time. So let's talk about your experience at the Olympics. This is your first match. You're just like, I've arrived, I've made it. And who do you go up against?
So first of all, just getting to the Olympic Games was a great honor. And then I saw my draw and I had to face the previous Olympic champion. People would be scared if they see it's the Olympic champion, but I was up to the challenge.
Guys, this is how confident this lady is. I want to find out from you what the experience was like. I mean, it wasn't the conventional run of the Olympics. Did that take anything away from your experience?
Not at all. As I said, it was a great opportunity, and I was honored to be there and represent South Africa. From the previous Olympians, they all said that Rio was amazing, so obviously I expected more. But when we got to Japan, it was all masked, everyone wearing glasses. But just being there, the atmosphere was amazing.
And I mean, it's no easy feat. South Africa has been noted as a difficult country. If you haven't won at the Olympics, you don't come back to the glory cheer at the Olympics. How did you handle coming back to integrating into society post the glory of Tokyo 2020?
It was a lot of pressure, firstly, being there, because you're not used to all the messages, the calls, and everything else. And then coming back, and yes, you've made it, but you also feel like you failed a bit, and having to come back and you have to be around people and just experience it was a bit of pressure, and I fell down, but I'm back on my feet.
I want to guarantee you that to TuksSport and to the University of Pretoria, we take none of what happened lightly. You guys competed on a global stage. So many people were watching, and it was such an honor to stand behind you guys. 2020 is coming up. The hype of 2021 has died down. What's on the cards for Jerene?
So for now, I'm just resting, but next year, back onto the mat, kickstart, and getting ready to reach 2024.
What advice would you give to women who walk through society and don't feel seen, who are maybe undermined?
I would just say keep your head up. No matter what happens, no matter what others think about you, it's all about yourself. So just boost yourself, be confident, and walk your walk.
Ladies and gentlemen, a competent, confident dynamite of a powerhouse, Jerene. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that interesting interview there, Mr. Fondo, chatting to Jerene Whiteboy, who's been an exceptional athlete, also doing so well at the Olympics. Now we'll move over to more of a conversation. We're going to hear from the director of TuksSport, Mr. Stephen Ball, who's going to be looking at our annual awards, and he will certainly be sharing a few words about sport at the Victoria in 2021.
Thank you very much, Lennox. A special good evening to everyone joining us for the 2021 TuksSport Colours and Awards. Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Tawana Kupe, our #1 supporter and UP cheerleader, thank you for joining us this evening, sir. To our executive member responsible for sport, Professor Karolina Koornhof, the Executive Director, we appreciate your attendance and support as always. I want to acknowledge all the TuksSport athletes, coaches, managers and administrators and volunteers that have connected to the live stream of tonight's event. And to our sponsors, partners and collaborators, both from within UP and externally, we appreciate you celebrating this evening with us. As I stand here this evening, I don't take anything for granted. I'm truly grateful to the University of Pretoria Executive for entrusting me with the role of Director TuksSport and CEO of the High Performance Centre. Each day since occupying this role this year, I've had an overwhelming sense of anxiety and caution as to the enormity of the task and road ahead. However, at the same time, a sense of excitement, anticipation, and expectation far surpasses the daily fears as we lead and navigate the next chapter of sport at the University of Pretoria. Truthfully, I'm honoured to be in this position, one that I never dreamt of being in when I arrived at UP to study 24 years ago. And having witnessed the heritage, the evolution, and the transformation of this institution that is truly dear to my heart gives me hope for the future. Over the course of a very difficult year, we have seen numerous positive performances and results by individuals and teams. This speaks firstly to the appreciation and approval by the necessary internal UP stakeholders to allow sport to continue as the national regulations permitted. It speaks to the support of the senior leadership of UP for sport. Further, it highlights the ongoing focus of our total TuksSport programs, which includes the High Performance Centre and the TuksSport High School operations, as they've continued to collectively find ways of doing business in abnormal times. With a year that is swiftly moving to a final few weeks, it allows us to rewind and reflect. And as we navigated the last 20 months of uncertainty, finding ways of doing business within the boundaries of national and international regulations, we have much to still look back on with pride and satisfaction. We know that it has not been normal, yet we have still sought ways of finding normal. We know it has posed many challenges, as often with great despair and heartache to colleagues as they dealt with personal loss and family hardships. Yet amongst all of this, we have been able to experience pockets of hope, moments of brilliance, and opportunities knocking on our doors. These moments have seen our total TuksSport system thrive, with our people coming together in the face of adversity, taking the day-to-day realities head-on and in a responsible manner. It has been a year where our athletes and teams have performed between the four white lines, on the pitches, in the pool, on the tracks, in the boats, on the turf, and in the halls. This has seen our student athletes win numerous titles at the USA national tournaments. In 2021, TuksSport teams claimed 11 gold and 4 silver medals out of a possible 16 medal opportunities. And this is a remarkable feat when we consider that in the Varsity Cup and Varsity Sport competitions, we were able to secure 1 gold, a silver, and 2 bronze medals out of the 4 competitions. I'm extremely proud of our TuksSport teams, the student athletes, the coaches, managers, the facility staff, and our sports science and medical staff. I'm proud of them not due to the numerous titles and medals they claimed, but more so because they kept on going, despite all the challenges faced. At no stage did they lose focus of being a team, and they continued to find ways of still training and doing their sport. It is a reflection of the amazing people within our broader system at TuksSport, the HPC, and the TuksSport High School that are solution-driven and passionate. We must also appreciate our university senior executive for backing sport at the University of Pretoria, trusting that we will continue to promote a positive image of UP, but also remaining within the boundaries imposed on us. The fact that our student athletes were once again able to compete in the stripe was special for each of them, and in many ways provided hope for others, whilst we were all seeking new ways and new normals. We also saw our elite athletes providing hope, with our TuksSport having 23 athletes, 8 coaches, a referee and a doctor, an incredible 18% of the total team representing Team South Africa at the Tokyo Olympic Games. This is a remarkable feat, and 4 athletes made the finals in their events. In addition, we saw 8 athletes associated with TuksSport, a coach and a medical doctor represent Team South Africa at the 2020 Paralympic Games. But all of these performances mentioned are not theirs and theirs alone. It is made up of many individuals across our entire UP Sport business that have tirelessly, over many years, continued to do their best to create a platform and environment that is conducive to performance. And this can be seen in the massive contributions of our staff in TuksSport, the High Performance Centre, TuksSport High School, and along with our key partners in the Sports Exercise Medicine and Lifestyle Institute, SEMLI, based at the HPC. It would be too many to thank and mention individually, but know that whether you realize it or not, you have made a difference, just by showing up and doing what is expected of you to the best of your ability. We have successfully hosted 2 major tournaments this year alongside our partner in Future Africa, namely the Varsity Cup and the Varsity Football Bubbles, as well as many other local, regional, and national competitions and tournaments. All because we, across the entire organization, collectively took a chance and made it happen, despite the challenge and possible risk. I would also like to take this opportunity to honor some senior leaders within sport this evening. These are individuals that have significantly shaped me personally and the business of sport at UP over the last 20 years. I realize that it may not be fair to single out specific individuals, but I would like to honor their influence on me and their length of service and contribution to building a sport program that we see today. To the late Professor Ernest Kruger, the former director of the Institute for Sport Research, who was my first boss at the university, that gave me the freedom to learn and to make mistakes, but always had high expectations of me. The former director of TuksSport, Mr. Kobus van der Walt, who actively dreamed, shaped, and built the culture of sport program at UP. The former CEO of the High Performance Centre and acting director of TuksSport, Mr. Toby Sutcliffe, who I worked with in the first ever academy in 2001, and who passionately strived to create a positive and impactful brand known as the High Performance Centre, both locally and internationally. To a man who I have enormous respect for, through his wisdom, work ethic, views, and experiences, the TuksSport Deputy Director, Dr. Rendani Malautsi. And then to a colleague and friend, and now former Deputy Director, Ms. Lydia Monyapau, that challenged me through just listening to her views, her passion, and valuable input. We never had the opportunity to say an appropriate farewell and wish you well in your new role as the Chief Operating Officer of SAFA, one I know you're already thriving in. Lydia, thank you for serving and embracing the stripe, whilst actively shaping, over the 7 years we worked together, new views, unpacking perceptions and biases, all while breaking ceilings for women within sport. To my fellow EXCO members that have served sport over many years here at the university, that I now get to work a lot closer with in the direction and operations of the HBC and the high school, Mrs. de Villiers, Mr. Steer, and Mr. Albertine, and I look forward to us continuing to shape these entities as we take them into the next chapters. To the numerous colleagues that I've been fortunate to witness and walk a road alongside over many years, you know who you are. I salute you and I appreciate you. Thank you for setting the bar high, for always being honest and open in our conversations and keeping this place as the focus. And then finally, to a colleague that I've worked very closely with over the number of years, Ms. Zilia Dreyer, who's the longest serving TuksSport manager within our system. You saw TuksSport at its lowest in the late 90s, and you actively and positively contributed to building a TuksSport culture and a performance support program that is second to none. Your strong ethical line and honesty toward me and many others has helped hold me accountable on a personal level. This evening, I also need to, on a very sad note, acknowledge the passing recently of one of our own, Coach Mpumi Geza. Coach Mpumi, in the number of years that he served within TuksSport and Tuks Rowing, made an enormous impact. Always smiling, always willing to be challenged, and his heart for the stripe are some of the many things that we will remember Coach for. He was challenged daily as he navigated being a diabetic. And may his passing make us aware of the challenge that millions battle with daily globally. My thoughts and prayers go out to the entire TuksSport and Tuks Rowing families, and in particular, may Mpumi's family, friends, and his rowers find much strength and peace in this time. Thank you, Coach. For us to lead sport at the university to a new chapter, it's going to require us, and each one of us, to pitch up each and every day as active citizens, striving to ensure that the mandate of becoming the leading sporting university in Africa is achieved. This extends far greater than winning between the four white lines, but it actively seeks for us to contribute to pushing the boundaries of sport performance, providing platforms for enhanced student well-being at UP, all while contributing to the crucial conversations of sport development and leadership. If we follow this, we will make a difference and continue to be a lighthouse of hope, direction, and sporting prowess. So while we dream of the future, let us celebrate the successes of the past. And tonight is this opportunity to thank and honor every single individual that contributes to sport at UP, even though you may not be receiving a specific award. It is the total Team Tux that we honor and celebrate through the symbolism of an event such as this one. And as we strategize new ways, may we never forget the lessons we have learned. And as we approach partnerships and collaborations, may we continue to seek new opportunities for growth as we rewind, we rethink, and we reimagine a TuksSport of the future. I thank you. I think we're now crossing back to Angelica, and I think she has another interview actually in the hub. So back to Angelica.
Not only another interview, Mr. Ball, but the interview of the night. Joining me presently is Akani Simbine, Mr. Sub-10 himself. How are you, Akani?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am absolutely fantastic. Guys, I must tell you, sidebar, the most humble, intelligent, well-rounded individual that I've had the honor of sitting down with. Akani, I want to find out, following an impressive season, all round, a near podium finish at the Olympics, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned this year?
I think the biggest lesson from the year was just to push through adversity. Olympics didn't go my way. I just missed out in the middle. But it was just to figure out that, you know, there is more to the story of Akani. There is more to me being the 100-meter sprinter, chasing that medal, and hopefully one day getting that medal. And that's where my motivation is now and lies. And, you know, I was down, but now I'm back, and I'm going to be better than I was before.
I promise we will hold you to that. You mentioned coming back from the Olympics, and you obviously worked so hard to achieve a really good position. And I want everyone to be aware of the fact that going to the Olympics isn't something every Tom, Dick, and Hendrik gets to do. But you come back from the Olympics, and once again, there's no welcome home Akani, there are no banners for you. Talk me through where your mind is at that point and how you got back to realizing that it's more than about just the sport.
I think for me it was just knowing that I'm doing this for myself first. You know, I've been given a very blessed talent that I appreciate so much, and you know, I can't just say no. I came home and they didn't cheer for me or say well done. You know, that's disrespecting my talent and my blessing. And for me, it's more of, you know, working on my talent, working on my blessing, and making sure that I'm getting better. You know, when we're talking now off camera, I was talking about, you know, I'm a person that's trying to be better, trying to do everything I can to be better, to be a better human being, to be a better sportsman, to be a better role model for other people, you know. And that's where I am right now. That's where my heart lies right now. And yeah, that's where I'm finding my motivation.
I really take so much inspiration and directive for what we as the University of Pretoria and TuksSport need to do to continue to support yourself and other athletes beyond just the 4 white lines or the track in which you participate. How important would you say are the annual sports awards, having been a student athlete yourself?
I think the awards are very important because for me as a student, when I started studying here, to be invited to the TuksSport Awards was a major thing because the University of Pretoria was a big deal, you know, and just to be one of the few to get invited to such a prestigious event and getting an award there was the best for me, you know, and it motivated me to keep on pushing and just be like, okay, the university actually recognizes what I'm doing, and they recognize that I am doing the best I can to put the university's name up there on the sporting field, and just doing the best I can. And you know, it's just, the university is really great, and I think it's a great thing that they're having these awards and acknowledging the students, and you know, they're acknowledging the guys are not students anymore, which is me, you know. And yeah, it just brings you back and just says, okay, you know what, all the hard work is not for nothing.
Fantastic. We will continue in every stride, in every possible way as TuksSport and the University of Pretoria to prepare and till the soil for future athletes so we can grow the kind of athletes like Jerene Whiteboy, like Tatiana Schoenmaker, like Akani Simbine, who will lead the future of sport forward. Parting shot, it's 2022. What is on the cards for Akani Simbine?
Well, we have African champs next year, Commonwealth Games. I need to retain my title. And we have World Championships. You know, that's the big one for me. You know, I want to stand on the world podium. And that's where my head's at. That's where my heart's at. That's where everything of me is at. You know, and I am pushing towards that, and I'm working hard towards that.
Heads in the right place, hearts in the right place. Thank you, Akani. Thank you, Jerene, for always elevating to greatness.
Thank you.
It's now my distinct pleasure to do the annual awards for TuksSport. And joining me on stage, we have the Executive Director responsible for sport, finance and student administration, Professor Carolina Koornhof, who will be handing over these awards. The Sport Personality of the Year Award, Phumelela Mbandi, UP alumni, national hockey player, practicing chartered accountant, vice captain, Team SA flag bearer, and social impact champion. These are just some of the words that describe the Sport Personality of the Year, Phumelela Mbandi. Being selected to represent Team South Africa at the Olympics was a dream come true, and being the vice captain of the team shows your leadership. Being selected to be one of the Team SA's flag bearers illustrates your impact, and earning your 50th national cap during the Olympics is something remarkable and truly special. But it's never just about hockey from Phumelela, but more, she seeks to make a change and a difference for future generations by challenging previous social norms and promoting active, transformative conversations to leave sport in a better place. And on her behalf, Coach Inki Zondi will be receiving her award. Thanks, Coach. Sports Team of the Year, the Tuks Hockey Ladies Team. To win a title and keep on winning is the challenge. Judging by the USA Hockey Tournament results, our Tuks women's fine-tuned this art. In September, they beat Marties in a humdinger final and a penalty shootout. And this is the 4th time in a row that the team has been victorious. The Tuks Hockey head coach, Inki Zondi, has been masterminding these performances through the players taking ownership for what they do on the Astro. To highlight the team's performance the last number of years, 4 of the Tuks players represented South Africa at the Tokyo Olympic Games, with Coach Zondi being the assistant coach. 4 Tuks players have also been selected to play for South Africa in the under-21 team during the upcoming World Cup. Congratulations, our Tuks women's ladies. Then we move to Coach of the Year for individual sporting codes. And the Coach of the Year, coming from the sport of swimming, is Mr. Rocco Meyring. The luckiest man in the world to be doing the job that I love is how Coach Meyring describes himself. It could be argued that Meyring is instrumental in putting back the self-belief in South African women's swimming. Coach Meyring coached Tatiana Schoenmaker to win a gold medal in the 200-meter breaststroke at the Tokyo Olympic Games in a world record time. She also went on to claim the silver medal. Coach Meyring was also instrumental in guiding Kayleen Corbett to qualify for the 200-meter breaststroke final, where she finished in a 5th position. The last time that 2 South African female swimmers competed in the same Olympic final was in 2000 in Sydney. But Coach Meyring's passion for developing and driving a student aquatics program at Tuks has borne much fruit, leading Tuks to claim the USA title for the last 5 years. Coach Meyring. It looks like he wanted to get out of here pretty quickly. I think he's shy for the camera or something. But congrats, Coach. Coach of the Year, Team Sport. Coach Zithle Ntuli from Tuks Hockey. Coach Zithle Ziggs Ntuli at Tuks Hockey has undoubtedly established himself as one of South Africa's foremost hockey coaches. But the one thing he will never do is rest on his laurels. hardworking, always learning. The challenge will always be to get the teams he coaches to keep on pushing the boundaries. Coach Ntuli guided the Tuks men team to a win at the USA tournament this year, where they beat Varsity College 3-0. This after finishing in the bronze medal position in the previous tournament, which shows great progress. Coach Ziggs has been the Proteas men's assistant coach, representing Team SA at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. And he was part of the team that guided the national team to some spectacular performances. Coach Ntuli is also the head coach of the South African men's under-21 side and has been guiding the team through the last 2 years for the World Cup. He's currently in isolation before they go to the World Cup, and on his behalf, Coach Inki Zondi will receive this award. Now, joining us on stage is the CEO of BestMed, Mr. Leo Dlamini. And it's always important that partnerships and collaborations are more than just sponsorships. And I believe over the last number of years, the relationship that we've built up with BestMed proves exactly that. And BestMed's support to our performance athletes, our performance support program is unwavering. And on behalf of TuksSport, we would like to thank BestMed and Mr. Dlamini and his team for everything they do for us. So, the BestMed Student Sportswoman of the Year. I will be reading the finalists, and they will each come to stage to receive a small token of their award, and then at the end we will be announcing the winner in that category. Kayleen Corbett, Tuks Swimming. B-Ed student athlete Kayleen Corbett returned from her Olympic debut in Tokyo with her childhood swimming dream firmly realized and all her goals exceeded. Representing Team SA at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, having confirmed her qualification at the Olympic trials, Kayleen did not disappoint. She went on to finish in a remarkable 5th position in the women's 200-meter breaststroke final. Leading up to the final, Kayleen won both her heat and semi-finals, and in the final she finished again in a personal best time. Her excitement for the performance of her training partner saw images of them celebrating together and seeing her being nominated for the prestigious Fair Play Awards at this year's Games. As a student athlete, she has significantly contributed to the USA team titles since her arrival. Congratulations, Kayleen. Marizen Murray, Tuks Hockey, finalist. Marizen is a final year B consumer science student athlete and has been a national senior player since 2016. She has only won gold medals at USAs since arriving at the University of Pretoria to study. A pinnacle and a dream came true with her representing Team South Africa at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Marizen has been in a leadership role within the team for the majority of her university career, where she co-captained the team in the 2020 and 2021 years and helped captain the team to the USA tournament win this year. What made it remarkable is that she played the entire USA tournament with a torn ligament in her hand. Marizen is also part of an elite group of hockey players who have scored a goal at the Olympics. Congratulations, Marizen. And our final finalist in the BestMed Student Sportswoman of the Year is Catherine Williams from Tuks Rowing. Kath Williams, B-Ed student athlete, was always seen as a promising young rower. However, in 2021, it can be seen as her breakthrough year in her performance post-school. As a committed national team member, Kath continues balancing the high training demands with the academic requirements. As the only female rower, she represented South Africa at the Under-23 World Championships, a competition seen as a major stepping stone to future senior international success. Here she claimed the bronze medal in the women's single sculls. She was also part of the Tuks women's team that won the gold during the USA boat race in Port Alfred this year. The Tuks women's crew was victorious for the 4th year in a row. Kath Williams. Congrats, Kath. And the BestMed Student Sportswoman of the Year award goes to Kayleen Corbett from Tuks Swimming. Congrats, Kayleen. So now it's the best med. No, please, we need to remain here. We're not running away that easily yet. It's the best med student sportsman of the year. And Prof. Koornoff and Mr. Dlamini will also be there to ensure that everyone smiles politely and keeps the protocols in place. Xoliso Gift Cleotela is our first finalist from Tux Athletics. If there was going to be a prize for comeback of the year, Gift Cleotela, final year BIS student, would be a definite contender. During the USA Championships, he won the 100 meters in a 9.94 second, becoming only the 6th South African sprinter to dip under the magical 10-second mark. Cleotela was second in the 100 meters during the South African National Championships. He notched up his first international win of the season in the meeting in Madrid held in Spain, and a week later he won again in Poland. During the Tokyo Games he ran at 10.04 seconds in the heats and in the semi-finals at 10.03. Unfortunately, Gift tore his hamstring in the final few meters of the semi-final. But we know his work ethic and his never say die attitude will see him return to the international competitions, and I know he's back on the track already. Gift Cleotela. Our second finalist, Ruan Ras, Tux Swimming. Tux swimmer and master's student in architecture, Ruan Ras believes it's not the will to win that makes you a champion, but it is refusing to fail that does. He has captained the Tux swimming team for the last 3 years to victory at the USA Championships. At the National Invitational Olympic Trials in March, he claimed a bronze medal in the 400 individual medley. He also won 2 silver medals during the South African National Short Course Championships. His years of hard work and dedication paid off with his best performance, winning gold during the Ghana African Championships in Ghana this year. Ruan Ras, Tux Swimming. And our final finalist for this Best Med Student Sportsman of the Year, Sango Zamlashe, Tux Rugby. Final year student Sango Zamlashe had a special year leading UP Tux 1 as captain during the 2021 Varsity Cup competition hosted on our campus. Through his captaincy, Sango guided and led the team with pride, honor and distinction. This saw UP Tux make its way to the final, where Captain Zamlashe was able to raise the trophy as we claimed the title. A month after captaining Tux to win the Varsity Cup, Zamlashe received his Blue Bulls call-up, and Sango was selected to captain the Bulls in that Currie Cup encounter. Through his efforts at UP Tux, he has signed a senior provincial contract now with the Griquas team, and he came all the way back from Kimberley just to make sure he was here. Congrats, Sango. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Best Med Student Sportsman of the Year, Xoliso Gift Cleotela. Congratulations, Gift. Thank you to Professor Koornoff and Mr. Dlamini. We really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm now going to be joined by our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Tawana Kupe, to assist me with the following awards. Newsmaker of the Year, Tatiana Schoenmaker. A dream of representing your country is one thing. Narrowly missing out is devastating. Achieving the qualifying times for the next Games is rewarding. Going into your first Olympic Games without realizing what impact you will have is remarkable. Achieving greatness, including Olympic medals, Olympic records and world records, without expecting it and still remaining humble is remarkable. Looking to impact others because you were blessed is something noteworthy. This is just a small part of the Tatiana Schoenmaker story, and these are just some of the elements that have contributed to her making the news headlines both locally and globally this year. Her social media presence grew enormously as her global following grew. Her Instagram account soared from probably around 7,000 followers prior to the games to more than 74,000 in just over a week. Her interviews were honest, they were truthful, and they were down to earth, and she quickly won the hearts of many as she shared that she truly believed that if you have a lane, you have a chance, both in the pool and in life. Recently, she launched the Tatiana Schoenmaker Foundation to make a significant impact in society. And through her faith and conversations with her coach of letting go and letting God, she has lived out her dreams of making an impact and will continue to do so for many years to come. TuksSport Newsmaker of the Year, Tatiana Schoenmaker. Congrats, Tatiana. The next two awards are the Principals Awards for Outstanding Performance. And the first Principals Award for Exceptional Performance in both academics and sport. This year we will have two recipients of this award as they both are well deserved. Giselle Regaba's Tuks Netball. Unfortunately, Giselle cannot attend this evening as she's in camp, national camp, and the Tuks netball manager will receive on her behalf. Her positive approach has led her to excelling as a student as well as a netball player. She has been a Golden Key student since her first year. Giselle passed her LLB law degree cum laude and is now studying towards a Masters of Law degree in International Trade and Investment Law. Her netball career nearly ended when she had torn her ACL and MCL ligaments, but just giving up was never an option to Giselle. As goalkeeper or goal defense, she has helped Tuks win the varsity tournament in 2019 and numerous other competitions. She has also represented the provincial teams in the National Netball League. Her netball highlight was playing for Namibia at the World Student Games, and from this year, she's been playing for the senior national team, the Namibia's Desert Jewels. Congratulations, Giselle. The second recipient of the Principals Award for Exceptional Performance in both academics and sport is Mr. Ruan Ras. Ruan's constant quest for perfection has helped him to excel in his studies and as a swimmer. He's currently doing his master's degree in architecture at UP. While he was a learner at the TuksSport High School, he fine-tuned the art of balancing academics and sport, which he carries through to today. This included fighting with Burkitt's lymphoma cancer. The talented swimmer was never going to allow it to get the better of him, and he has made a full recovery. Ruan has captained the Tuks swimming team for the last 3 years to victory at USA. At the National Champs, Invitational Champs in March, he won the bronze medal, and at the SA Short Course Championships, he claimed 2 silver medals. And recently, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Ruan claimed the gold in the Ghana African Championships and 2 silver medals in the 200-meter butterfly and 200-meter backstroke. Ruan Ras. We then move on to the Principals Award for Outstanding Team Performance. And this award is given to a team that represented the university either at Varsity Cup or Varsity Sport competitions in that year and excelled. So the Principals Award for Outstanding Team Performance goes to the Varsity Cup rugby side. When the referee's whistle blew for the one final time to indicate that Tuks had beaten UCT Ikes 34-27 in the Varsity Cup final at Tuks, it was as if a sense of normality had returned. What mattered was that the two teams playing were back playing on the field. Too often had proved that COVID had affected our lives, but them performing on the field had shown difference. By winning 34-27, Tuks upped their tally of Varsity Cup titles to 4. Apart from being the 2021 champions, Tuks also managed to break the voodoo against Marties, as they had lost the 5 previous consecutive games since 2017. It also included a loss, for example, in this year's round-robin match, but in the semi-final, UP Tuks 1 stepped up to the plate. Xander du Plessis broke the record for the most points scored in the Varsity Cup tournament, scoring 157 points. And when one talks to Coach Lies and Captain Zamlashe and watching the players training and competing, it is easy to understand why Tuks was victorious. This has seen numerous of our players receiving provincial call-ups due to their performances on the field of training and the field of play during the Varsity Cup this year. Congratulations, Tuks Rugby, Varsity Cup team, and Captain Zamlashe for leading it. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the Sports Club of the Year. And the TuksSport Club of the Year is Tuks Swimming. It stands to reason that Tuks Swimming is where champions train. 5 Tuks swimmers, a coach, all went to the Tokyo Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. A further 22 club members, which included 16 student athletes, represented South Africa at the Ghana African Championships. It is arguably the biggest swimming club in Pretoria and South Africa. And Tuks Swimming, the goal will never only be to win medals. What matters is getting every swimmer, no matter what age, to master the finer intricacies of the sport. This approach led to Tuks Swimming winning the USA Championships, the Swim SA Level 1 and 3 Regional Championships, the Swim SA Junior National Regional Championships, and the SA Short Course Champs. Tuks Swimming coaches are passionate and they want to make a difference, not only at Tuks but in African swimming. And this is why the club often offers training camps which is open to everyone and often includes swimmers traveling from countries such as Swaziland, Botswana and Mozambique. Tuks Swimming is also always prepared to find ways to support other swimming endeavors outside of the competitive swimming space that supports the needs of the community, such as the Labone Training School and the Police Special Task Force, which use our facility weekly for their training. Congratulations, Tuks Swimming. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the 2 Premier Awards for the evening. And I'd like to request Mr. Leo Dlamini, the CEO of BestMed, to join Professor Coupe to hand over these awards. The BestMed Sports Woman of the Year. Again, there will be 3 finalists, and each one will receive something small, and then we will announce the overall winner at the end. I do also want to say that thank you to BestMed, our finalists, both in the Student Sportsman and Woman of the Year, as well as the Sportsman and Woman of the Year, will also be receiving a small financial reward as token of their appreciation. Our first recipient of the BestMed Sportswoman of the Year is Tatiana Schoenmaker from Tuks Swimming. She was undoubtedly the star of the South African team during the Tokyo Olympic Games. She won gold in the 200 breaststroke and silver in the 100 meters. It was the first time since 2000 Sydney Games that a South African female swimmer medaled at the Olympics. Schoenmaker set a world record in a winning time of 2:18.95. And during the 100-meter breaststroke event, she also set an Olympic record, winning in 104.82. The Tuks swimmer also impressed during the SA National Championships, setting 3 new Africa records. What is impressive is that since September 2020 last year, there's hardly been a gala, or a significant one, in which Tatiana did not improve on her time, setting new records. She currently holds 5 of the 6 African women's breaststroke records, both in long course and short course meters. Tatiana Schoenmaker. Our second finalist for the BestMed Sports Woman of the Year is Khotatso Monjani from Tuks Tennis. Being a trailblazer in women's wheelchair tennis has become second nature for Khotatso. In July, she set another first when she contested the Wimbledon singles final, and she was also in action in the women's doubles final. Playing 2 finals at a Grand Slam event is another first for a player from Africa, and she's currently ranked 5th in the world. By the end of 2018, she had stamped her mark as the first African female tennis player to compete in all 4 majors in a calendar year. Kgotatso qualified to represent Team South Africa at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, where she continued to represent our country with pride. Kgotatso Monjane. And the last finalist for this evening is Jerene Whiteboy from Tuks Judo. 17 years is how long it had been since a South African female judoka competed at the Olympic Games. This statistic changed when UP alumni Jerene Whiteboy stepped onto the mats during the Tokyo Olympic Games, having qualified to represent Team SA. Through this feat, a lifelong dream became a reality for Michaela. She is only the 3rd female judoka who has been selected to represent South Africa at the Olympic Games. Whiteboy also competed at the World Championships in Hungary in the last 12 months. She also competed at various African Cups, claiming gold, along with the Senior African Championships. This she achieved whilst embarking on her 2nd postgraduate qualification at the University of Pretoria. Jerene Whiteboy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to announce the Best Med Sportswoman of the Year, Tatiana Schoenmaker. Congratulations, Tatiana. We move to our final awards for the evening, the Best Med Sportsman of the Year Award. And the 3 finalists are Akani Simbine from Tuks Athletics. The South African 100-meter record holder, Akani Simbine ended the 2021 athletics season as one of the world's fastest sprinters. A definite highlight was running in 9.84 seconds in Hungary in July, and it's the 2nd fastest time by an African sprinter. Simbine also impressed in June by winning the 100 meters during the Florence Diamond League meeting, and this was the 4th Diamond League victory of his career. During the Tokyo Games, Simbine finished 4th in the final, running a 9.93, missing out narrowly by 0.04 of a second on winning a medal. Akani also anchored the men's 4x1 relay during the World Athletics Relay Championships in Poland earlier this year, where Team South Africa claimed gold. Congratulations, Akani Simbine. Our 2nd finalist, also from Tuks Athletics, Carl Bluchnout. The 21-year-old proved he is one for the big moments with a 6th place finish in the shot put final at the Tokyo Olympic Games. This was the last time a South African had competed in an Olympic final since 2000. In the build-up to the Olympic Games, Bluchnout competed in 5 meetings in Europe, where he won 3 medals. Bluchnout qualified for the Tokyo Olympic Games with a winning throw of 21.21 meters in Johannesburg, and this placed him 3rd on the South African all-time list of best performers. Congratulations, Carl Bluchnout. And the final finalist, unfortunately, he's not able to attend this evening, and Coach Inki Zondi will receive on his behalf Samkelo Mvimbi from Tuks Hockey. There's one thing that's guaranteed way to get Samkelo adrenaline pumping, and that's to give him a hockey stick and tell him the team's honors are at stake. The 22-year-old could not wait to go to the Tokyo Games and represent South Africa. During the Games, he contributed significantly to the team's positive showing against the expectation and odds placed on them, seeing him also score against Germany in a spectacular game. As a midfielder central link, Mvimbi lives for the moment. The opposition's defense is caught off guard, and then the ball hits the back of the net. Mvimbi debuted the end of 2019 for the Proteas senior national side, playing against Namibia. He has remained humble and hard-working throughout, and he's very excited that he's able to live out his dream. Congratulations, Samkelo Mvimbi. And ladies and gentlemen, the Best Med Sportsman of the Year for 2021, Mr. Kani Simbine. And we know there's more to come. A special thank you to Professor Coupe, our Vice Chancellor and Principal, and the CEO of BestMed, Mr. Leo Dlamini, for assisting us on stage. And a massive congratulations to all our award winners this evening. Thank you, and have a good evening further.
Incredible. That was truly indeed special. All the hard work of the athletes being recognized right here at the TuksSport Awards for the year 2021. I'd like to thank very much Mr. Ball for an amazing showcase that he just did now, thanking the athletes, administrators, and all the coaches for their hard work throughout the whole year. But indeed, we have to thank the sponsors who have made a lot of what we're seeing possible. We want to thank them for their time this evening and joining us for all their support and contributions towards TuksSport thus far. I'd like to conclude this part of the festivities tonight, which is the online part of the evening. And I would like to say a few thank yous tonight. There's been a lot of people who've been holding hands to make sure that we make this event a success. We'd firstly like to thank the captain of our ship, Professor Tawana Coupe, for the ongoing support and the vision for sport at the University of Pretoria, to our executive director, that being Professor Kronhoff, for holding us accountable as to ensuring that we are navigating the sport complexity challenges that come before us to ensure that we succeed. And also to our partners and collaborators, BestMed, for their ongoing support towards TuksSport and also the high performance programs. I also want to say another sponsor that's certainly carried us out are our clubs throughout the year. They have been able to help coach and develop some talent. And indeed, what you're seeing, all the visuals, the live stream that being brought by Louis Kluter Productions for making their sponsorship, and also the phenomenal production of this evening. Truly sensational what they've done. But they're not alone, because AJR Audio have also been professional, helpful, and of service, and helping us with such a broad smile in everything that they've been doing. And indeed, where we are tonight, which is the beautiful campus, the Future Africa campus at the University of Pretoria, which has housed us and also housed the athletes at the hub, where they are currently standing and enjoying some festivities over there, celebrating sporting excellence, and indeed the High Performance Center for the catering to our Olympians and also to everybody that's here tonight, this evening. And to those who have certainly received all the awards and also those who have been reading all the awards, we want to say thank you. And indeed, a final thank you to all TuksSport staff members that helped us pull this evening through. Working together, we appreciate everything that you've done, or all your passion, your excellence, and making this prestigious event a true success. Now, indeed, I want to thank you all. As you remember, one of my favorite golfers being Gary Player, who says that the more he practices, the luckier he gets. And also a Roman philosopher who says that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. I hope that as we move on from this point onwards, that you'll use every day to prepare to make your own luck. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Lennox Wasara. Till we meet again, goodbye, love and light.